Those days, men used to hunt for their young brides, and I had to disguise myself and carry a baby to pretend as though I was a young mother. I grew up in a church which did not allow the girl child to go to school, and as part of that, there were moments where I was asked to stop going to school. My name is Kunzekweguta. I was born and raised in Zimbabwe. Went to live in the UK for about 21 years. In that time, I was working in mental health as a manager for supported living. Then I decided to go into life coaching.
What do I do with a 45-year-old man who's got 4 or 5 wives already?
Started to write, and when I realized how healing writing does, I decided to continue helping other people to participate in anthology, which is more than 1 or 2 people writing in the same book, sharing a chapter and helping them heal. I grew up in a church which did not allow the girl child to go to school, and as part of that, there were moments where I was asked to stop going to school. But when I was in Form 2, I think I was 15 years old, I went to a conference in Shona with same Sangano. And that is where those days men used to hunt for their young brides. And I had to disguise myself and carry a baby to pretend as though I was a young mother, so that they would not capture me, because if they had kidnapped me, that would have been it. I would have been the 12th wife of somebody. So when I finished Form 4, that topic was raised again, that I should stop school. And that is not what I wanted in life, so I ran away from home. Because I grew up being very close to my dad, it affected me that I had taken a step or action which affected that relationship. But I did not know how badly damaging that was for me until I started to write many years later. And I shared that particular story of escaping from the kidnapping zone. It gave me the opportunity to reflect, as well as to put myself in my dad's shoes for a change, to understand also where he was coming from. And my healing began from there.
They had such a detailed description of me. Men came out in droves, these bodyguards with sticks and torches looking for me, because their head of church was looking for me.
So from moving from Zimbabwe, going to the UK, carrying that, my parents had divorced when I was 3, and the main person who was the parent I had was my dad. And then to change from that and losing that connection was very difficult for me. He had instilled so much in me as a young girl, the teachings, the encouragement, and that is kind of started shaping me. And when I went to the UK, having lost that part of me, I think I became somebody who wanted to prove that I can do it. Instead of that being something that helped me, I think it kind of appeared aggressive in a way, because I wanted to prove a point, which is not a way of living. So I achieved a lot, but I wasn't happy. Through my experiences of escaping from becoming a young bride and living here in Canada, my first experience was not good at all. I was in a bad relationship which was very abusive, emotionally and psychologically. And probably would have thought, you know what, let me go back to the UK, or let me stick it out. Maybe the person will change. But abuse, what it does, looking at working in mental health, which I did, I understood what abuse does to your mental health. And I did not want to wait and see what happens. So I ended that relationship. There's so many men and women who are in bad relationships right now. And if I could just encourage them to say, you don't need to exist. You need to live. This is your life. You get one shot at it. And this is it. It's not a rehearsal. I will spread that message and encourage them to think about building their confidence, building their self-esteem. The abuser is making a choice to abuse you. You do not need to choose to stay in a bad relationship. When I started writing, I was invited to write a chapter, just 1,500 words. And I remember thinking, 1,500 words, when this anthology is published, my life is going to change. I didn't know how, but I declared it anyway. When I realized how it had helped me heal, I decided to participate in a few other anthologies. And each time I took out a story, it was like I'm taking off this jacket and getting lighter and lighter. When I gained the confidence to then ask other people to participate in the anthologies that I was compiling, it wasn't easy because you are actually prospecting, inviting people to come and work with you. It took me about a year to complete one book. I almost gave up, but I knew that people who gave me their stories, they trusted me, but I also wanted them to heal. So when that happened, I wanted to continue helping. It was one person who said to me, do you know, when I started writing in your book, the moment I put pen to paper to write this story, I started to heal, because that night I had decided to take my own life. And it is from each time when I start thinking I can't do anthologies anymore, it's a lot of work, I think about that woman, and I think, how many more people am I touching, inspiring and motivating to keep on, either through my story or another author's story, to carry on going. So that is what makes me keep doing that. I had never thought that I could speak as a speaker. But after writing that same book, when it was published, the first book, I was invited somewhere and I was introduced as an author. So I got up. When I did that, everybody turned and waited. Everyone was taking off their shoes, right? But the speakers who have been here before me have got big boots. I cannot fit in. Like they were saying, okay, so now speak. I just realized that I need to step up my game. So I joined Toastmasters. So it has opened an avenue for me to be a speaker. So now I speak and motivate women. I motivate young girls. I'm invited to speak. I also organize my own events. Look at where you came from. And if unfortunately you came from a background where you witnessed a lot of abuse, find a sister, talk to her, get support, because you need to know your worth. Some of the books I carry them when I go for events, and people can get them from there. I've got anthology, and this one is my solo book, Silent Strength, Gaining Resilience Through Triumph and Life's Challenges. You also can get my books from Amazon and Ingram Sparks. You just Google, search my name, just my name on Amazon. It will give you a whole list of the other books that I have participated in. The world is changing. Now your content is king. You need to practice. Without practicing, you wouldn't know how good you are. You'll find that when you start writing, the very first chapter is not as strong as the last one. When you practice, you are encouraging that muscle to keep growing, whether it's your creativity muscle or it's just the thinking, the critical analysis muscle. They need practice. They need something to do. Help yourself to step out and just to do something that you haven't done. Write and share it with other people so that they give you constructive criticism and help you grow.